Reggie Bush.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has been decided that Reggie Bush will get his rightfully earned Heisman from 2005. We are pumped that this decision was made because it was made by a group of people who normally get shit wrong. And it's not that it was the NCAA, but it's the same style of human being who have been hard-nosed and stubborn and refuse to look at the reality and the logical situation in front of them and just say, this is an easy one. This guy was the best player in fucking football. Yeah. This dude, whenever he was at USC, was not only must-see TV, but he was an attraction for tickets. The prices to go watch this dude live were 3-4x. He was like what Caitlin Clark was for women's basketball for college football. Reggie Bush, anytime you got to watch a game, you knew there was some ridiculous highlight coming, there was some shake coming, and there was going to be a cross-field cutback where he's going to run 700 yards for an 85-yard touchdown. And to your point, whenever he would cut back across the entire field, that would set up for massive shots. So you got people getting blown up. Matt Leinart, obviously a stud as well. Pete Carroll was enjoyable as hell to watch on the side. It's just like, this is the right move, and I'm happy they made this decision, but obviously they should have done this 15 years ago, whenever this all kind of got settled and figured out what it actually was. What an electrifying player, AJ.
I mean, to be able to, like, I played against Reggie in the league, not in college, but I think I'm actually, I'm in the same draft class, same age as Reggie pretty much. Yeah, like, it was a special time when these dudes were in college. When USC was rolling back then, like, I mean, that's where USC is trying to get back to. But I said the whole time, when they take Reggie's Heisman away, like, okay, they didn't gift it to somebody else. You still won it. You still earned it. It's yours forever. But now it's good that it's officially, like, back in his hands.
Well, they tried to give it to Vince Young, allegedly, and Vince Young refused to take it because he understood that it was Reggie's Heisman. And I think, like, I graduated high school in 2005, was in college the same exact time. Pat White, Steve Slayton were absolutely electrifying, and I want to see, but we all had respect, obviously, for what Reggie was doing. So much so that, like, you become a fan immediately of all the highlights you see of him. I'm punting to him in a Super Bowl. He's on the Saints.
Yeah.
Whoa. And I'm, like, literally shitting my pants. I'm like, I've seen this guy just shake the shit out of actual athletes. In the middle of the Super Bowl, most eyes in the history at the time. I got to send a ball down to this dude. His NFL career didn't work out to be everything that everybody had expected, but literally he would have had to play for 20 years in the NFL, score 100 touchdowns in every other season for it to live up to the hype that it was. And now he's the rightful owner of, his Heisman Trophy again. So who was the ones that made this decision, and how many years have we been close to this decision coming in your eyes? And I assume everybody on earth feels the same way we do about this is the right decision. Thank God. Let's move on now.
Yeah, the timeline's interesting, Pat, because 2021 was the first year of NIL, and Reggie released a statement in July of 21 that basically said, hey, I'm calling the Heisman. What I did is now legal. I should be able to get my Heisman back. And some of the Heisman's reasoning for this in 2010 was that the statistics in the games were invalidated, and therefore the Heisman was taken away. So I think momentum shifted 2 years ago. As you know, nothing happens quickly in college sports. I do think Johnny Manziel's public plea made a difference the other day. The Heisman is a age-old institution that's sensitive to criticism, and when their own came out that strongly, I think that mattered. Coley Harvey reported today that there was a bunch of Heisman members who were together. Tim Tebow was among them. There were a couple other familiar names there, and they got together and as part of this decision to bring Reggie back. So Reggie walked into a room today to about 15 Heisman members, and they all greeted him down in Florida at an event. So it's a pretty special moment for Reggie to get reintroduced into that club, and now we're all anxiously awaiting the Heisman House commercials where he does the Undertaker and rolls back in.
Absolutely. So many good ideas, Pete. Keep pitching those publicly so that maybe those can come to fruition. I assume USC will also do something big for him as well?
Yeah, I mean, USC, their president released a statement today. Lincoln Riley released a statement. I mean, this is a huge moment for USC. They actually have 8 Heismans now, more than any other school. They go past Ohio State and, 2 other schools I'm going to blank right now. But yeah, Oklahoma was 1 in Notre Dame. So they're now ahead of those 3 who have 7. If you've ever been to Heritage Hall, it's really cool at USC. They have them all like out very publicly. People can go in and see them. It's a huge point of pride at that school. It goes all the way back to, OJ and Mike Garrett and all the way up to Caleb Williams and Reggie Bush now. So it's a really kind of cool historical touchdown to sort of wrap around there. And yeah, they are. I believe Lincoln Riley called it a historic day for USC. So there's certainly a lot of pride emanating from there. He was banned from there for a decade, and him coming back 3-4 years ago, NCAA banned him for a decade. And when he came back, it was a big deal. I mean, he is a transformative figure. In my 21 years doing this, I have never covered a player that's been more electric. He had like 2,900, a little less than 2,900 yards for total yards his junior year. Think about that for a minute. 2,890 yards when you count kick returns, when you count from scrimmage. I think in his career from scrimmage, he averaged 8.5 yards a touch. I mean, he was silly. It's absolutely silly what he did on the football field at USC.
Fun to watch. Go ahead, AJ.
Pete, it sounds like sort of Johnny Football, when him coming out and saying, that Reggie needs his Heisman back and he's not going to attend or do whatever he's going to do, did that really give it the public push it needed? I know behind the scenes, I'm sure people were working, but who ultimately makes that decision to bring him back?
So it's pretty unprecedented, right, what happened. So it's not like they have a committee that they're going to, that handles this. But what I think is the Heisman's very sensitive to bad publicity.
Does he
and
even?
Johnny Manziel got a lot of attention for what he said.
No,
and I think this mitigated future.
We heard you
people.
say this earlier, Pete. We heard you say this about 4 minutes ago. Yeah, we heard this.
Oh,
this entire answer.
sorry.
Yeah, no, it's not. This is it's not your fault. This is not your fault. AJ, did you just want him to hammer home the fact that the Heisman Committee hates bad publicity? So they
No, I'm saying did the player or everyone that like the old Heisman winners do they get to vote and bring him back, or does some committee or some Heisman trust do it?
Yeah, so I think they consulted with a bunch of Heisman winners, but again, there's no precedent for this, so I don't think they have a subcommittee on reinstatement. You know what I mean? This has never happened before. Hopefully, it'll never happen again.
Amen.
But yeah.
I love it, though. This is great for college football, I think, as a whole, and maybe for common sense decisions being made in the future by people that have positions of power in college sport. Pete, that'd be cool too. Like the NCAA could see this and be like, it is a new era. We don't have to suck all the time. That's cool. Right, Pete? Can't that happen maybe from this?
I mean, certainly the NCAA is trying to lean more towards common sense, but I'm not going to go on the Pat McAfee Show and defend the NCAA in any way. I can be very clear about that.
Smart.
They are at least trying to modernize, which they were about 40 years behind on doing, and now they're probably 20 years behind. But the world is very different than it was in 2021, and that is progress. But that progress has to be viewed through the prism.
2021, we had COVID.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, we had Uncle COVID.
Well, 2021 is when the portal opened up, essentially, and name, image, and likeness money happened. So that has transformed the landscape as we know it. And in a lot of ways, this is a byproduct of some of those transformational rule changes.
You're the man, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you battling through, callousing up for this big season ahead. Yep. We appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Pete Thamel.
Yeah, Pete.